Good afternoon, welcome to the BDO Tipoffs launch. This is an exciting event that BDO is bringing to you. Welcome everyone that's on the call and welcome to the media that's actually joined us today. Just some housekeeping rules. From the perspective of the audience, you will be muted. However, if you've got a question or a comment, please put it in the comment box. We do know that there is load shedding happening at the moment. So if you do have some buffering or it takes some time, the slides will be sent to you post the event. We also have made sure that you actually have a recording of this, so we'll definitely share that. Without further ado, I'll introduce myself. My name is Pat Mokgate, and I'm the Business Development Director at BDO. I'm also in the top 35 under 35 Young CA finalists for 2021. But I'm not alone today, I'm with my esteemed colleagues. I'm with Mr. Mark Stewart, who's our CEO, and I'm also with Anna Marie Kugel, who's a forensic director. Just a little bit about Mark. Believe it or not, Mark joined BDO before I was even born. In 1985, Mark joined BDO and he's been with that firm for that long. Mark has been CEO of BDO from 2014 and he's been doing an amazing job sitting on the EMEA board, helping with the global strategy. He's grown this firm from a medium tier, call it, a firm that actually sitting with entrepreneurs and now to this big conglomerate boasting crazy numbers like 1.5 billion. But I'll unpack those slides a little bit later. Then I've got Anna Marie sitting right with me in our beautiful Illovo office, who's the head of our forensic department. Over 35 years looking after forensics, working with the NPA. She was actually a prosecutor, amazing prosecutor. I mean, the first time I met Anna Marie, I was like, shucks, this lady's staunch. Does she even smile? I mean, absolutely amazing team that I've got today. So now, without further ado, let's get straight into this video. What is this exciting BDO Tipoffs all about? We're going to unpack it. But let me tell you about something interesting. BDO is actually doing amazing stats. 10.3 billion turnover, which is absolutely amazing. 91,054 employees globally with 1,658 offices. It just tells you the scale and the depth that we've got when we talk about a professional services firm that is absolutely amazing. But let's then zoom into a local view. Where is BDO in terms of South Africa? From a South African perspective, we've got 1,800 staff with a 1.5 billion turnover and 134 partners. In where 7 offices across the country, we've split it into sectors just to make sure that the market understands that we've got depth and we keep on building the depth. So without further ado, let's look at this video that is quite exciting that will take us into what this video is all about. But before I get to the video, I'm quite excited about it. I'll let Mark give us the opening remarks. So over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Pat, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. BDO Tipoffs is something exciting in our lives, particularly, I think, with ethics and quality being the driver for everything that we do. It's a given. This is our commitment to the profession as individuals and as a firm. It underpins all we say and we do, from how we live our values to how we engage with our clients and our stakeholders. We do our best to offer our clients an exceptional and world-class service. And the launch of our whistleblowing software solution, BDO Tipoffs, is our commitment to be ethical and quality-driven and to help our clients support ethical behavior in their organizations. The tool puts the power back in your employees' hands, resulting in reduced reputational damage to your company and saving you money when reports are made prior to any real damage being able to be made. Research conducted by the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners indicates that occupational fraud is more likely to be detected through a tip-off than any other method, including internal audit, management reviews, documentation examination, or external audits. That is a very clear indication of the power that comes with having a whistleblowing tool in your organization. As a country, you find it at a difficult time for whistleblowers. There have been cases of brave men and women who've stood up to the powers to do the right thing, the result being a loss of jobs and in extreme cases, the loss of lives. All reports that are submitted to the BDO Tipoffs app are completely anonymous and will not be traced back to the source. Blowing the whistle on any irregularities should be safe and simple. And that is what we are offering you with our new whistleblowing tool, BDO Tipoffs. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you very much, Mark. I can't wait to unpack this tool. I can't actually wait to hear your thoughts on governance and the ethics and where we are, but we'll get to that very soon. So without further ado, let's get straight into the BDO Tipoffs video and understand what is this tool all about.
Introducing the BDO Tipoffs whistleblowing software solution. Completely anonymous, completely ethical, completely secure. Our whistleblowing tool has been created as a response to the state of corruption and fraud in our country, and to also help our clients and businesses in South Africa protect themselves from financial laws. We have seen various public and private sector cases where whistleblowers were not protected and resulted in jobs, livelihoods, and even lives lost. At BDO, ethics is the cornerstone at which we operate, and our Clarity Charter fully reflects who we are as an organization. According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners report to the Nations 2020 Global Study on Occupational Fraud and Abuse, it is estimated that losses of $3.6 billion, which amount to 52,213,680,000 arise from occupational fraud. The research revealed that occupational fraud was detected by 48% of tips, 14% internal audit, 11% management review. Top 3 resources of tips were 40% employees, 29% customers, 24% anonymous parties. And top schemes in large organizations with 100 or more employees were 55% corruption, 18% non-cash, and 15% billing. The BDO Tipoffs application is easy to use. Here's how. Download the app for free on the App Store, Google Play Store, or the Huawei App Gallery. Select your 4-digit user ID and 4-digit PIN. This cannot be reset. If you lose your smart device or credentials, you will have to re-register. This also ensures anonymity of the user. Select your organization from the drop-down. Your employer will confirm the details. Alternatively, to experience our test app, select BDO Demo from the list of organizations displayed. Once downloaded, log in and report any irregularities as follows. Select the pen icon. Create a new report pop-up will appear, then type in the title of your report. Then select Done. Now the title of your report will appear on the top screen in your app. Now provide the details of your report. Once done, click on the red button to send your report. Once you submit your report, you will receive an auto response. This is an acknowledgement of your submission. To provide supporting evidence, click on the pay-per-click icon and select images or browse files from your device to submit. Note that there are no identifiers. In the app, you are identified as you, and admin is identified as admin. Our whistleblowing software solution will protect your business against financial loss, protect your employees' identities, empower your employees to anonymously report irregularities without fear, eradicate unacceptable behavior in the workplace. All submitted reports will be investigated as we have an audit trail, and feedback will be provided to the whistleblower. Blow the whistle from anywhere at any time without fear. Let us help you protect your organization against fraud and corruption.
Definitely exciting. And with that, I want to bring in Anne-Marie into the conversation. Anne-Marie, I know you've been sitting there with bated breath to start unpacking this, but let's take a step back. I'm looking at the stats. It's crazy, 53 billion in financial loss. People are passing away. What is forensic? Let's take it back. Explain to us what is forensics. What do you do on a daily basis? What are we doing?
Thank you, Pat, and good afternoon to all. Pat, we are a division that obviously conduct investigations not only investigations, but we provide proactive services, reactive services, remedial services to assist with the white-collar crime issues that clients experience in our country. We do investigations, we help clients to do the investigation, and in other words, to identify a possible perpetrator or a wrongdoing that happened in an organization. We help the client to stop the losses. We help the client to then go through litigation, whether it's labor litigation, whether it's civil litigation, and whether it's specific matters that they want to take forward to go to the courts, to go to include the police as well. We assist them. In other words, what our mission is in the forensic division is to safeguard the assets of our clients as well as their reputation. You need to understand, we work with the public sector, with NPOs, people that do have grant money, and they need to show that everything is done to safeguard that money, and that money is donated to them for a good purpose. And for that reason, we have a division. We have 13 very well qualified people. We have together over 200 years of experience, and our people in the division are certified fraud examiners, forensic practitioners, and we're also happy to say that our firm is also a member of the ACFE, our professional body, and we also hold membership in the ITFE. So you can see from our credentials so far that we have people that is lawyers, we have people that is forensic auditors, forensic accountants, and most of all we have a very good digital support. And you can see it today with regard to the digital support, as well as we can deal with big data analysis, and that is what we bring into our customers.
Sounds absolutely exciting, Anna Marie. I mean, and you touched on quite an extensive team, you touched on the experience. Are we not scared doing this kind of work?
But no, we're not, because what we do is we provide to the client a factual investigation. What we also help is, like I said, we do the proactive services. Apologies, we do like your e-lifestyle. Now with the digital services that we're looking at today, we developed an e-lifestyle solution that we also can make available to our clients. And with that, what is so important is to help the clients not to lose money. We can do the reactive investigations, but it's important also to help our clients to make sure that they can safeguard their assets. And most of all, they can safeguard with this tool the people in their organization as well. Because people in an organization is your assets. And people need to be provided with a platform to be able to also speak up.
I like that. And you talked about a pertinent point here, but what is the whistleblowing? Are there any acts in South Africa that, protect us as whistleblowers? And with that, after you answer that, I want to bring in Mark to, just tell us about, how does the BDO clarity, come into the space? I mean, BDO has taken a stance on the clarity charter. How does that tie into this whole whistleblowing initiative? So, Anna, if you can just take us through what is whistleblowing and effectively what acts govern it, and then we bring Mark in to let us know exactly, how the clarity charter ties into this whistleblowing.
Thank you, Pat. Just as an introduction, there's a Whistleblowers Act, but there's also regulations that we need to comply with. That is obviously available in South Africa to help the whistleblower to follow a process to do whistleblowing. What we also have available is relevant to compliance. Obviously, we all know that Popeye came into effect this year. We need to ensure compliance with that.
Let's now get into, the harsh realities of the country we live in. We live in South Africa. We've seen the recent case of Babita. We've seen the recent gentleman who, unfortunately had to leave the country because of whistleblowers. I'm sitting here, someone's sitting in the audience saying, I want to whistleblow, but what about my safety? So what can happen if I whistleblow? Will people know that I've whistleblowed? How does it work? How does it effectively work?
Yes, thank you, Pat. The most important thing for a whistleblower is obviously my safety. And that one can understand, because it's not only the whistleblower's safety, it's their families, their children, their wives, and so forth. What is happening is we see that in the newspapers, we see it in the books that's available here today, that people has got a great concern about the fact that their identity gets known. That is why BDO then took hands with the developer and brought forward this application that a report can be made totally anonymous. What you must understand about this system does not capture private information and your detail. So my cell phone number is not captured, my email cannot be captured, none of my private detail can be captured. The second thing that is very important for a whistleblower is that my employer will do something about the report. I take the effort and I make the effort to do it, and I would like to see that something happens. Now, what is the second part that you're going to see this afternoon is that there's a proper audit trail, and that audit trail is also an electronic audit trail that cannot be manipulated. And that audit trail will give you the assurance that once you come forward and you talk about wrongdoing, that message will get to somebody.
Okay.
And it will not be manipulated.
If I interject there, as I understand it, I'll be fully anonymous.
Yes.
But what then happens to, say, for example, the credibility of the evidence that I'm giving you? Where does that go? Do I have to meet with you as the person who's actually whistleblower? How do you go about it? Do I stand in a court? Because at the end of the day, will this information ever leak?
But what we are proud to say about BDO itself, we work with quite high-profile matters in the forensic division. We are fully trained to work with whistleblowers and the whistleblowers that would like to stay anonymous. Obviously, you have whistleblowers that will also want to come forward and want to make known their names. And for that reason, you will see later on the application, there's a telephone number. So people can talk to us, but we don't encourage that. We would like people to come forward anonymously. And what this application is so good, it gives you the opportunity to give us evidence. Now, what I can also say to you, if we work in our current forensic matters, we work all the time with whistleblowers. And that whistleblower will provide evidence, and it makes it easier for us then to assist the employer or the environment where the wrongdoing occurs to proceed with investigations into that matters. You must remember also what is important here. I refer to the word investigation all the time.
Yeah.
But this application makes also provision for the fact that there's more criteria that you can look at. You can look at bullying in the workplace. You can look at sexual harassment. So you can look at more ethical problems and not only forensically related matters like white-collar crime. So what makes this application so usable and user-friendly is that it can relate to your specific environment.
Wow. So effectively, we could even have HR using this tool within an environment to see what's happening from a people perspective.
Yes.
That is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. But then the question is, how did the idea come about to create this app? Because as you said, there's been these investigations. Why an app? Why create a BDO of Tipoffs?
What we did, Pat, is because we work all the time and we have our strategic partners, we partnered with a developer that developed about 2 years ago. I think it's perhaps might be a bit longer than 2 years, that they also sat around the table that we're sitting today and said, how can we address the situation where people are scared to talk? People are scared that they will be vindicated. People are scared that they will lose their jobs, and they don't want to come forward. You also know that there's a big risk in staying quiet, because if there's a problem, the problem will not go away. And for that reason, BDO decided, let us see what we can do to grant business and to help business to open a platform for their employees to make the reports.
Wow.
So what BDO is doing today is to say, business, let's see how can we make it easier for your people in your organization to come forward and make the reports.
I quite like that. And with that, I want to bring in Mark with his years of experience. And say, Mark, looking at governance and the ethical behavior, would you say as South Africans we've regressed, or what's your thought on the way that behavior of employees and society is, given your extensive years of experience?
Yeah, Pat, I think that Anna Marie made a good point earlier on, is that the society we live in guides a lot of how we as individuals behave ethically. I'm not so certain, though, that fraud and corruption has accelerated. I think what has happened is that there are more channels to communicate where this does take place. I mean, consider the speed at which news travels these days. Many years ago, it would have probably taken a number of weeks before it got to the newspaper. These days, it's within hours that a matter that gets discovered can find its way onto a social media platform. So while we can become despondent about the level of corruption and the lack of accountability in our society, my sense is that it was always there. We're just discovering more of it because of enhanced tools like the app that we are now able to offer to clients. But there's an array of tools. And I guess society is also fed up with it because as we've seen through the recent elections, people eventually will vote as to how they feel. And I'm not a political analyst by any means, but certainly some of the comments that have come out of the elections is that those people who are feeling the effects of corruption and fraud most are those who are voting differently. And it makes absolute sense to me. And if we can apply a tool that will contribute to elevating fraud and corruption to a greater extent, faster, and bringing people to account quicker, then I think that we've made a contribution to society.
Brilliant, Mark. I think I definitely have to share those sentiments. I mean, I can clearly tell that Mark has got a Twitter account because he knows all the social media spaces. So Mark, I guess you'll be tweeting about this immediately after this event. But as you rightly said, I mean, Anna-Marie, before things would take lots of years to come out of the public poll. Now it's so quick it gets escalated. I mean, we've seen at the moment we've got Zondo, which has been taking over 3 years, that's been happening. And do you believe with an attack like this, we would not be where we are in terms of state capture?
With Pat, what we envisage that can happen here is that exactly what Mark was saying, things can come to the surface quicker. People hesitate, where can they report? And we by no means replace any regulatory authority. What we say is that businesses must come forward, corporate must come forward, because this app is aimed to assist with corporate fraud and wrongdoing. And like I said, it's not only limited to fraud, but it can be sector specific and service specific. But what is important is that we live in a digital environment and we look at a lot of development, and let us then act quicker. We read in the newspapers about money that is lost due to a virtual bank that there's currently an investigation. And for that reason, an application will afford the opportunity to a person to come forward. But most importantly, we will not lose the evidence. You must remember, with this application, there will be a moderator that can communicate, and I'm looking forward to the fact that we can explain to people how it's going to work. So with that application, people can communicate with you and we can get the evidence that is necessary to assist, to also have a quicker response time in our investigations.
And you touch on a very pertinent point. You say that there's evidence that you'll receive. How will then, BDO, being the administrative side, know the credibility of the evidence? So, for argument's sake, I take a picture of something happening. I saw with the elections, I mean, there was a point where there was social media videos circulating where boxes were open. How do you know that that video is actually a true reflection of, the matter? Because social media these days, I've also seen videos from 3 years ago and it's escalated and created as if it's a video that's happened now. How will you deal with that?
And Pat, you're so right, because sometimes you see on social media a video that you saw 3 years ago and you see it again. So what we will do, obviously, with the moderators, that is trained moderators, with the client, there will be a process that specific report will be limited to specific criteria, and there will be a fact-finding process with the company that appoint BDO. So you will also see with this application, the client itself can decide to deal with this application on their own, being their own moderators, appoint their head of risk or a financial specific person in the organization. But what we will recommend here is that we look at the impartial moderators like BDO to assist you to answer to this. When you do any review, any investigation, that you always go to fact-finding. And we do know that people will perhaps send you something that might be an old video from 3 years ago. But also remember, people go to court sometimes, and they can also tell stories in the court. So what is very important for us is to go into facts and confirm what the correctness of what the whistleblower forwarded to us.
So this is a process. So the app is stage 1 effectively, and there will be a process that will be followed in order to get to a right answer, if you want to call it.
Absolutely, and it will depend on what process. Should it be a process where a school is, for instance, joining BDO and there's bullying in the school, there might be a different process than a criminal process followed. So it will depend, obviously, on the report that we received.
I've been told that I've got verbal diarrhea, so at this point, I will actually give the floor to ask some questions. There's anonymous there at 28 minutes past 2 asking, I'm worried about the culture most organizations become obsessed about trying to find out who blew the whistle instead of attending to the matter being reported. I mean, I'll just bring in Mark and Marie here. What are your thoughts around, specifically where people feel, shucks, what if they found out it was me that whistle blew, and now all of a sudden I get victimized? Is that safe to say? What happens when the culture is so bad that you get victimized?
Yeah, Pat, that's precisely what we're trying to overcome, is to provide a channel for people to feel secure in the information that they share. And Anna-Marie pointed out that we're not able to trace who submits the information. Of course, there is an opportunity, should you so wish, to make yourself known. But the whole purpose really is to ensure that there is this anonymity. And I guess the other side of this coin is to create the fear amongst perpetrators that in the event that they do breach, whether it's an ethical matter or a fraudulent matter, that there is a greater chance of them being reported. That in itself must be a deterrent. And I really think that the app goes a long way towards providing that security that the person posing the question has asked.
Thank you, Mark. Anna-Marie, you want to add on?
Thank you, Pat. I would like to add on what Mark was saying. And again, I would like to stress that the system was developed not to capture your private information. And that is the important thing. What we would like to accomplish with the system is a two-way communication, that we can get better quality of reporting. In other words, you've got a qualified moderator or administrator on our side or on your organization side that can communicate and source the correct information. We've seen many times in our investigations and our work that we do that a person really wants to report, but perhaps the person has got further information that could have assisted the investigation. What we are interested in is to see that evidence, because at the end, we are on a fact-finding mission. If you work relevant to litigation, whether it's civil litigation, criminal litigation, or labor litigation.
Thank you for that. And without further ado, there's another question who was anonymous. I guess everyone's anonymous. They're actually very good at whistleblowing, I can tell. So they want to know that, recently in South Africa, whistleblowers have not been protected, as was mentioned by Rita, and we mentioned the young gentleman who's left the country. What will BDO's role be, with regards to the protection of the individuals? What role will we play?
Thank you, Pat. I think all of us do have a concern about the protection of people. And that is why BDO is sitting here today with this application that we make available to businesses. It is important for us, if we deal with matters, that we listen to what that person was saying. And that is more important for us to deal with the report than to try and find out, like the previous question, who is the person. I can assure you we did many, many matters that we investigated that we never knew who was the whistleblower. Some of them we suspected it was the whistleblower, but that was not the important fact. The important fact was, could we utilize the report that was made? What we have in this application as well is, I would like to say, after a discussion with the developer today as well, we soon going to make it web-based as well. But you must understand, currently, this application is providing you an anonymous platform. I cannot see your IP address, I cannot see your cell phone number, and that is what you're going to see later in the presentation.
Oh, brilliant, Ellery, and I think that's what we really need to see. How do we download this app? How do we get into it? I mean, a lot of anonymous there says, you know, if we blew the whistle, and you already answered to say, you know, the app will protect you in itself. You will not be exposed. But then they're taking it to the fact-finding situation, you know, where they're saying, you know, what happens when facts come into play, or whoever's actually doing the investigation, what then happens? Because just listening to that anonymous, you can tell that people are frustrated to say, you know, we're not going to react, and we only react and instead of being proactive, which is, so what can people take as ease of comfort post this event to say, well, look, once this goes to fact finding, I will literally till the end not be found out.
Yes. Remember, thank you, Pat. Remember, one very important fact is that there must be feedback given to the whistleblower in terms of the new regulations. So what is beautiful about this app and what is so user-friendly is there's a dashboard that we can make available to you throughout this presentation that you can see your report is recorded with a random anonymous number. In other words, there's going to be a reference number, there's going to be a time, there's going to be your report. So from your side as a whistleblower, you will be able to understand where your report, when your report was made, and so on. So you're entitled to that feedback from your organization. What this app will also give you is a broadcasted message. In other words, if you're in a business and there's a few downloads made and reports made, the employer from their side and the organizations around the table today can communicate with you to say, we need further information, or thank you, this is where we're going. But remember, I said it's a two-way communication. That feedback to the whistleblower is now part of this whole app.
And I'm excited. I've got my phone, I'm ready. I want to download this app. Run me through how do I download this app. I want to actually start whistleblowing that I'm in a meeting for too long.
Thank you, Pat. You will see here on the screen as well, you need to go on your smartphone to BDO Tipoffs, and you're going to need to download that app. Currently, you see it's available to people that can work on smartphones. You will see it's Google Play, App Store, and the Huawei Gallery makes it available.
Yeah.
We quite further, I would like to tell you that I know that some of the cell phone providers are currently busy with cheaper phones that might be providing an app possibility as well, and that will be more affordable to people that don't have smartphones.
Right.
So that is currently also one of the things that we're busy with to research.
Exciting. So I've gotten to this page. It's got BDO Tipoffs. Looks very simplistic. It wants me to enter a user ID and a 4-digit PIN, and also wants me to select an organization. What do I do now?
What you do, you select, and that is why it is anonymous. You select what you would like to call yourself, and you're going to have that 4-digit PIN as well. After you've done that, Pat, you need to look at who's the organization. Your company is company X. You're going to select company X. In this instance, you're going to collect BDO, and there's a BDO demo opportunity for you, and you can select and download that.
Okay, so with regards to the user ID, is that also digits or is it a name?
You can choose.
Okay, perfect. If we put that in. So
you must remember again, One thing that is also important, I perhaps don't have a smartphone and Pat has got a smartphone. I can also report on Pat's phone without him knowing my username and my 4-digit number as well.
Okay, right, so I'm in. Now it takes me to this landing page, right? So I've gotten in and I see reports, privacy, terms and conditions. Where do I go? How do I go about it now?
The next you see the organization. If you work for BDO Demo, like I mentioned, you need to now go to BDO Demo so that you will be able to now do your report.
Okay, so I'm in. Let's then see what we do. So do I go to the pen? I see we've got a pen here, and what do I then do with my report?
You can see now the screen after your registration. Your login screen will look like what's currently on the screen, and I think you can confirm it's the same as on your phone.
Happy, we've got it here.
Yeah, and then you can say, push the button and say registered. Now you're ready to make a report.
Okay, and the title of the report was, I see here it's saying create a new report. It wants a subject.
Yeah, we talk about a criteria list. Now that criteria list will also be linked to the dashboard that I spoke about before. On that, you will see certain criteria. It might be bullying, it might be sexual harassment, it might be theft, it might be other wrongdoing, it might be corruption, and you will see it there. We advise strongly that with this list, we sit with our clients and determine what might be a concern in their organization. And from there, we will download the criteria. So you're going to choose criteria.
Wow.
And you're going to say you want to report theft, and you're going to enter theft there, and then you can continue.
I then see that I've got the option to type in my message, and I can even attach specific information. So I see that here. Who am I chatting to? Who would be this person behind the phone or the laptop, if it may be?
The person that will be behind that is a carefully selected administrator or moderator, as I referred to earlier. What your organization will do and what BDO already did, BDO identified specific people that will receive and that will have access to the dashboard and that will be able to see the incident. So your report comes in as an incident. As I said, there's a random number that is, and a reference number that is selected and linked now to the report that you will make. So now you can start. It's as simple as that. You can start with as you will send a WhatsApp to me.
Amazing, because I've literally just said hello video and I already had admin respond, with basically information saying they acknowledge my message, the contents of what's happening, and they're telling me, I can attach WhatsApp voice recordings, I can attach videos.
Yes.
This is crazy because we did this in less than 3 minutes.
Yes.
And I'm already in and I can actually start putting, certain information into this. It's absolutely exciting, actually.
That is so important that there's immediately a response. Because if you're going to send a message and nobody is going to answer you, you're not going to be a person that is very happy about the fact that you can be part of this whistleblowing. Remember also, again, there's legislative requirements that there needs to be communication with the whistleblower. And that is what BDO went to great lengths to get this automated message with the developer to immediately reach the report, the person that makes the report.
So once I've uploaded my evidence, the recordings, what will then, the administrator see on their or the organization? What will this dashboard look like?
You're going to see the dashboard. You see there the administrator dashboard. Once contracted with BDO, I would like to stress this is not an open reporting line. In other words, you will see your report is linked to a organization. In other words, I cannot now report that there is corruption wherever. It must be linked to your organization. So you will see on the screen as well, the organizations will be given a direct online, a password protected access to their unique tip-off dashboard. Now, why we say that is the dashboard, the administrative function can be fulfilled by BDO that makes it totally independent from the client as well. but the business can share it with us, putting some of their people or one of their people as an administrator or a moderator, or they can do it themselves as well. So what you're going to see is on the screen next. The selection of the administrators is very important, because what is also going to be important is that you need to understand what is the administrator doing with the reports. And that is what I said earlier. There's two matters very important for whistleblowers. Number one, anonymous reporting. Number two, what happens to my report?
Correct. Because there's no point in me whistleblowing and it just gathers dust.
Good, I agree. Now what you see here is on the dashboard. On the dashboard we will see an incoming incident, and like I said, there's a random unique number allocated to the incident. The incident will also be classified in terms of the criteria on the dashboard. In other words, will it be theft? In your case, you reported theft. Again, the criteria list can be linked to the businesses, and now the administrators are seeing that. Now you have a chief administrator, and you can say on the business side, I want my CFO, I want my head of risk, my head of ethics perhaps as people, and then the task can be delegated to them as the reports comes in and as
absolutely exciting. So it's really ring-fenced around the company, because effectively once the company comes on board, then the company's got all the access, and BDO is willing to even have that assistance with the administrator, which is lovely. I love the fact that we can get. I mean, maybe people are sitting on the call and asking themselves, but how much would this cost? How would we get to a costing of this tool? Because I'm quite excited. I mean, I want to actually start downloading it. I've got the app and I want more organizations to come on. What would this cost an entity, and how would you get to a costing?
That we would love the people to communicate with us, because there's more than one option available. As I mentioned, there's an option available where they can really get the solution from us, and they can utilize the solution themselves. There can be a shared responsibility with the client. And what is very good about the solution, there's a once-off license fee and a fee for a year, and then there's a training fee. The training currently, we give 2 training sessions, virtual training sessions, free. You can see it's a digital solution. It's easy to teach people, to guide people through the use of this application as well. But most important thing that I would like to say to you is, obviously there can be a question, what happens to the data?
Yep.
Now, the BDO Information Security Policy Framework is aligned to the good practice, and is ITO 27001. So BDO did a lot of homework to make sure that we're in compliance with law, but we're also in compliance with safeguarding of the data.
Sure, amazing. So do we now take full responsibility of the data? Do we look after it? Where is this data stored? I think that's also very important.
It's stored in the cloud.
Right.
If there's specific questions relevant to technology questions, we have a whole team of experts with us that can assist with any concern, any further question on that. But I think for what I'm saying to you is that we ISO 27001 compliant relevant to the data.
That is very exciting. I mean, right now we've gotten to the end of how this app works. We've unpacked certain aspects. And I want to actually open up to the floor and see if there's more questions, and we can actually take further questions from the floor and hear what the audience thinks. But thank you very much, Anne-Marie, for unpacking this app very quickly, get it onto your phone, and I'm ready to start, whistleblowing. Unfortunately, there's no whistleblowing from my end at a BDO perspective, so I won't be using the app at the moment. So do you believe that the tip-off line will help create greater accountability in both public and private sector?
Yes, I definitely, thank you, Pat. I definitely believe so. We would like to encourage people to come forward with information. That is why we also have the broadcast message opportunity. What is going to be important for business, for corporate as well as public, is to invite their people and to show their people that something is done about the reporting.
Okay, and then there's another individual who's asked here, and I'll pose this one to Mark. Blowing the whistle feels like betrayal. Even if you're doing the right thing, Will you help the whistleblower with psychological support? I've seen that the whistleblowers get paranoid and become nervous wrecks once they've blown the whistle. Mark, your thoughts?
But just to remind everybody that subscribers to the service are really subscribing to their own organization's whistleblowing site. We would engage, we as BDO would engage with a client to monitor this. As Anna Marie said, there are various options that a client can choose to go with. And depending on what that client's choice is, will reflect on the type of service that we can render to their whistleblowers. So it's not a one size fits all. We understand the psychological impact of a whistleblower, and there are lots of stories about those who have been so negatively affected. But I think it would ultimately rest with the organization that subscribes to this service for that. Of course, we would be able to engage with that client to be able to suggest channels of support. Anna Marie and her team are familiar with the type of support that's needed, and we could channel that query or issue to somebody that we have probably worked with before.
I quite like that, Mark, because BDO is there for an advisory role as well. You're not just giving me a tool, and then after giving me the tool, nothing happens. You're there to offer that advisory service, which is brilliant from my front. So I quite like that. Another question that's come in, it says, often we hear whistleblowers are not acted upon, or they're not charged by those charged with governance. Nothing happens. How will that act and BDO assist to get it to the right level to ensure that action is taken? And I think that really touched on, but let's reiterate, because you did say this report goes somewhere. Yes. Where does this report go?
Yes. What is very important is that dashboard that records all the incidents. That dashboard is developed to see the status of the matter. It will see also to who it was referred to. So there's a complete audit trail of the matter that was reported. It's important to understand that we also have a reporting duty in certain instances if there's regulatory authority matters involved. But remember, that is why it's so important that corporate works with us, and it's vital that corporate helps us to create platforms for people to come forward. We're very wary of the fact that whistleblowers they're really heroes in our country. They feel unprotected at the moment. What in our research we found an organization, and it's a global organization, that sometimes help whistleblowers with fees and to look after whistleblowers. But we think if this is the application that we can use, and we can really monitor what is the companies also doing relevant to this, because you can think for yourself, if there's report back in a company on specific reports that is generated from the system, there needs to be action taken, and things is not going to just blow away.
Wow. I love the fact that there will be, action, something will happen. I know we're running out of time, we're getting excited, and we're having a lot of fun having these. I would just love to go to your closing remarks and Mark's closing remarks before we play the video once again, just to run it through. And I'd like to thank everyone that was on the call to just, spend some time with us and understand why the importance of this whistleblowing. So I'll go to Mark with his final, final words, and then we'll go to Anna Marie for her final words. Mark?
Yeah, thanks, Pat. Of course, it would be great if we didn't have to have a conversation like this and provide a tool like this. But society, unfortunately, requires it. And I think that the tool that we've introduced to our own firm and to our clients will go some way towards making whistleblowing easier, more secure. And we certainly encourage those who would like to use it to participate in subscribing for it. And we hope that the experience that you may find, if you find it necessary to log an issue will be one of support rather than one of being dismissed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Anna-Marie?
Thank you, Pat. I just want to confirm what Mark was saying. I would also like to see from my side that we help whistleblowers that come forward, because it's a difficult decision to make. It's like I said in the beginning, it's a decision that you make that impacts on your family, on your career, and we must be able to provide that platform to people to do it and still be in the society that they would like to be.
Wow. No, with that, guys, thank you very much for attending our whistleblowing app. We'll play our video once again, and this is BDO Tipoffs. Do not be scared to blow that whistle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Introducing the BDO Tipoffs whistleblowing software solution. Completely anonymous, completely ethical, completely secure. Our whistleblowing tool has been created as a response to the state of corruption and fraud in our country, and to also help our clients and businesses in South Africa protect themselves from financial laws. We have seen various public and private sector cases where whistleblowers were not protected and resulted in jobs, livelihoods, and even lives lost. At BDO, ethics is the cornerstone at which we operate, and our Clarity Charter fully reflects who we are as an organization. According to the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners report to the nation's 2020 Global Study on Occupational Fraud and Abuse, it is estimated that losses of $3.6 billion, which amount to 52,213,680,000 arise from occupational fraud. The research revealed that occupational fraud was detected by 48% of tips, 14% internal audit, 11% management review. Top 3 resources of tips were 40% employees, 29% customers, 24% anonymous parties. And top schemes in large organizations with 100 or more employees were 55% corruption, 18% non-cash, and 15% billing. The BDO Tipoffs application is easy to use. Here's how. Download the app for free on the App Store, Google Play Store, or the Huawei App Gallery. Select your 4-digit user ID and 4-digit PIN. This cannot be reset. If you lose your smart device or credentials, you will have to re-register. This also ensures anonymity of the user. Select your organization from the drop-down. Your employer will confirm the details. Alternatively, to experience our test app, select BDO Demo from the list of organizations displayed. Once downloaded, log in and report any irregularities as follows. Select the pen icon. Create a new report pop-up will appear, then type in the title of your report. Then select Done. Now the title of your report will appear on the top screen in your app. Now provide the details of your report. Once done, click on the red button to send your report. Once you submit a report, you will receive an auto response. This is an acknowledgement of your submission. To provide supporting evidence, click on the pay-per-click icon and select images or browse files from your device to submit. Note that there are no identifiers. In the app, you are identified as you, and admin is identified as admin. Our whistleblowing software solution will protect your business against financial loss, protect your employees' identities, empower your employees to anonymously report irregularities without fear, eradicate unacceptable behavior in the workplace. All submitted reports will be investigated as we have an audit trail, and feedback will be provided to the whistleblower. Blow the whistle from anywhere at any time without fear. Let us help you protect your organization against fraud and corruption.